All right, so this is not about me doing a great drawing. I just want to get in value ratios for you as quickly as I can without being too perfect. Okay, so we've got the shoulder, we've got our neck area. The shoulder's going to be much higher. Let's just kind of cruise on down rib cage, hip. Alright, so now let's put the line that separates the light from the dark going right into that breast. Little abs, oblique area. And now we've got all this fabric. We can drop this. Okay, and I really want you to try this exercise. I think that this is a fantastic exercise. Again, you're going to deal with your touch, okay, and your light touch and your hand and all that great stuff that I really want you to develop. And, you know, that's how you're going to become, you know, a drafts person, if you could kind of develop your hand and be like in way more control. So now we're drawing this white object. So let's go right here first. And so I'm not going to go darker than a value number 6. Okay, I'm going to try to keep it. Actually, this is value number 5. I should number these so I don't confuse you and I don't confuse myself. So let's say this is going to be number 5. This would be number 6. I'm not going to go darker than this is going to be 5. That's going to be 6, Matt. I'm trying to talk too fast. No darker than number 5 in the shadow. Now, if I can tell you the biggest mistake that I see a lot of beginners make, they'll see like that little detail over there and they'll make it black. Okay? Now, I'm not taking into consideration personal style here. I'm taking into consideration that you are trying to match exactly what you see from life in a traditional, mind you, classical way, not a stylized way, not a comic book way where all of what you're drawing is totally, you know, blown out in terms of the values and you really don't care about value ratios. But why is this important in my opinion? Because it's a place to start. And it's a place to confront a white blank sheet of paper, and it's another tool to help you be creative, okay? Because without the tools, you know, it's very hard when you're a professional and you're confronted with a deadline and you have got to kind of produce, and there you are on a Monday morning with a blank white sheet of paper. You know, where do you start? This tool is a great way to give yourself, you know, a starting point. And it's a fair tool. It's not, you know, something that is going to drive you a little crazy. It's kind of easy to utilize. So now, if that's my white object, and that's my white object drawn in the value ratios, just light and dark. We're not getting into modeling yet. We're just kind of going light and dark with this. So if I make it a little bit more solid, I'm actually going a little bit lighter than that. I can go a tad darker. And I'm just trying to make it solid with the texture in the paper as best as I possibly can. Not going for a true likeness on this. Okay, I'm just going for the basics. Now, anything in the light, I can't tell you how important this is. I see this on a lot of people's drawings. Some people would see the navel. Boom, they go right for black. You don't want to do that. You want to be in control, and you want to say, what am I drawing? Ask yourself the question, what am I drawing? Is it a black object? Is it a middle tone object, or is it a white object, a light object? And if it's a white object, it's going to look like that. So now any rendering, you can see I'm holding my pencil all different ways. You know, what you want to do, let's see if I got my touch here today. I'm holding my pencil a little bit more mid-shaft, and I'm doing okay. I'm not pressing down too hard on that like neck area. Any detail over here is going to be maybe in all these values. Okay, 10 is going to be white. And any rendering that I do over here, this would be like a number 9. This would be a number 9. Okay, so now let's pretend, or I'm going to kind of destroy this now, but that's okay. This is the light side of our fabric over here. You've got to trust me. I know it's light. So in the light, in the dark, it's going to be a number 5 value. So I'm going to try to match that over here. Now that's a dark blue fabric. Okay, it's very close. In true life, that fabric is probably like this value. It's definitely like a number 3. So this is my light side. Now down over here, I've got my deep cast shadow. I understand on video this looks all dark, but this is definitely the light side. Maybe even down here, you're getting like a little bit of like a fifth value. This is really catching light. So now if I'm going to come over here in my dark cast shadow, in a dark object, it's going to be 1, a value number 1. So I'm not going to render this whole thing just yet, but right away now I'm using some tools and I'm in a little bit more control and I'm not guessing. Okay, I'm taking the guesswork out of what I'm drawing. So now I've got those value ratios on my dark object. Okay, so now I'm going to stay within a value number 1, which is black, and I'm not going to go any lighter than a value number 6. So maybe down, below the little platform of this cast, that would be like a 6 value in the light. Now again, this photo is not a good representation of this. It's really a terrible representation of it. But if you were to set a cast up against a dark fabric in the background, and you take this grayscale value finder and you put it up against it in life, it'd be a much truer representation than me working from this little photo right now. All right, let's move on to the next chapter.